Hey guys, what's going on? I'm still at home. I'll be back at school on Monday. I'm sure y'all are excited about that. So today you had to read this article called, it's an excerpt, which means a part of. It's an excerpt of an article called "Before the Lights Go Out." Before we start, I want to talk to y'all about a term they use. They use a term called a BTU, which is a British thermal unit. So I looked that up. I didn't know what a BTU was. It's the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 pound of water by 1 degree. So again, a BTU, British thermal unit, the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 pound of water by 1 degree. So let's look at this, the excerpt "Before the Lights Go Out" by Maggie Korth Baker. Right at the beginning, paragraph 1. Today, somewhere on the order of 60% of us believe that climate change is a serious threat supported by evidence. Yet, depending on the poll and the specific questions being asked, between 70% and 90% of us support increasing funding for alternative energy and mass transit, raising fuel efficiency standard for cars, instituting tougher energy efficiency standards in other areas of our lives, and requiring utility companies to get more out of their energy from renewable sources. Even a majority of self-described Republicans support alternative energy and energy change policies that you might suspect they'd be against. Sometimes you can even find low belief in climate change and high support for alternative energy in the exact same poll. I found that interesting. In addition, since the year 2000, large majorities of Americans have made personal choices that reflect energy-conscious values. 90% of us have recycled in the last year. 85% of us reduced our household energy use in some way, and 81% replaced standard light bulbs with compact fluorescents. When I told my family I was writing a book about the future of energy in the United States, I got pretty much the same response from everyone, whether liberal or conservative. They were curious, they were excited, they had ideas they wanted to contribute and questions they wanted to ask. The United States has an energy problem. Americans may not agree on the cause or the solutions, but we can all tell something that needs to change. I was born in 1981. In the years I've been alive, the United States has made some big changes to the way we use energy. Specifically, we've become more efficient, able to get more work, more conveniences, more money out of the same amount of energy. Back when I was born, we had to consume more than 12,000 British thermal units, BTUs, of energy to produce $1 of gross domestic product. Today, each dollar costs us only about 7,500 BTUs. Yet, at the same time, that energy efficiency increased. Reliance on fossil fuels has barely budged. In 1980, coal, oil, and gas made up 89% of the energy we used. In 2010, those fuels accounted for 83% of our energy use. Americans used only a little less energy per person in 2009 than we did in 1981, and in 2007 we used more. Overall, our total energy use has gone up. Basically, our energy efficiency has made us wealthier, but it hasn't done much to solve our energy problems. Americans may not agree on the reasons for conservation, but most of them support the idea of using less fossil fuel. Actually doing that, though, takes more than just superficial support. We need to break with more than a century of steadily increasing dependence. Today, we use 25% more energy in a year than we did when I was a baby. We're currently on a course to use 28% more energy a year in 2030 than we do now. If that comes to pass, we'll need more of everything: more coal, more nuclear, more oil, more gas, more wind, more solar, and a whole lot more money to pay for it all. Staying the course will not be as simple as it sounds. Meanwhile, making a change, tacking toward a world where we use less energy overall and getting it from different places than we do today is unlikely to be easier or cheaper. Nuclear energy is incredibly expensive and unpopular. Clean coal, as we'll see, isn't yet a reality and will cost a lot of money. Wind and solar are free, but will require huge investments and the creation of new technologies. More oil at ever high prices? Some of it from countries that hate us? You already know the problem with that. Where we stand with energy today is a little like finding yourself deep in debt on a low-paying job. At that point, change is inevitable. The future won't be like the present because the present isn't working. Neither are there any simple, pain-free ways to crawl out of that hole. How do you solve a problem like that? You make hard choices, and you do what you have to do. Today in the United States, our choice isn't between the energy system we have and what somebody somewhere says we ought to be doing. Rather, the choice we are left with is whether or not we want control over what happens next. That's not happy talk. We probably won't get everything right. We might not love the future we plan. Yet we'll probably like it a lot more than the future that will happen to us if we simply do nothing. So here we go with our questions. Question 1, two-part question. So part A. Which statement best describes the author's point of view about energy use? So let's look. We've got A, people will need to learn how to use technological trends and developments. B, people will need to actively support the total use of alternative energy sources. C, people will need to make hard choices about the country's energy policies. Or D, people need to know that their energy efficiency efforts are not always helpful. Danny, Mr. Bosarge, Grandmaster, what'd you get? That's right. The answer is C. People need to make hard choices about the country's energy policies. Let's move on to part B. So this is two answers. It says which two details, okay? Which two details from the passage best support the answer to part A? Bradley, Mr. Moran. Okay, and the other one? All right. Using less energy overall to power our lives. That's answer A. And then answer C. Creating and using new and better technologies. So A and C. Moving on to question 2. Which statement best describes a point of view that conflicts with the author? So I circled the word conflicts. Y'all know I always do my work. I always do my work. I circled the word conflicts. Opposite, okay? We're really not, let me stop and tell you, we aren't trained to choose opposite answers. I've talked to y'all about this before. We are trained to choose correct answers, not bad answers, wrong answers. We're not trained for that. So that's why I circled this. Hopefully y'all did too. If you didn't, you need to make a habit of doing that. I've talked to y'all about this before. So we need the one that conflicts with the authors. The answer is B. Continued reliance on our current energy sources will solve the energy problem. That's the exact opposite of what the dude is saying. Okay? Look at 3. Explain how the author responds to the prevailing point of view about the future of energy. Include at least 3 pieces of evidence from the text to support your response. I'm going to read y'all my response. According to the author, energy usage has increased 25% since the early 1980s and will increase by 28% from now until the year 2030. So obviously, we will need more coal, more wind, more solar, more gas, more oil, more everything. Paragraph 3, the author states that though we have become better at harvesting energy, our usage of it hasn't decreased. The author continues by pointing out that our usage per person has gone down. However, we have more people, so the overall usage has increased. Finally, it's stated that our energy efficiency has made us wealthier, but hasn't done much to to solve our energy problems. All in all, we are spending what we make, which is not a particularly smart way of living. Okay, guys, I hope y'all did okay on that. We'll do more when I get back on Monday. If you got any questions, give them to your substitute teacher, and they can have Miss Dahlgren send me an email. And if Miss Dahlgren's in there, she can just send me the email. But feel free to send me any questions. I'll respond. I check my email pretty frequently. There's nothing else to do. I hope y'all are well, and I'll see you in a few days. Bye.